Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
How appropriate, a Chevy Silverado tech tip of the week with a Chevy guy. You mentioned mackerel. Okay, I don't want to stay on this too long because we're going to move on to a different topic. By the way, these eggs are already beautiful. But you said you tipped your eggs to help get your bites when you went out to Oregon City on a particular day with mackerel. So tell me a little bit about what you did there. Are you taking those little fillets that come out of that little can and just put it on your hook, put it above the hook? What did you do?
So you heard of the term tuna balls, right? People tie their little spawn sacks with tuna balls. Well, there's lots of different bait fish out there that a person can utilize. You can use sardines, mackerel, tuna, you know, the sky's the limit.
Anchovy?
The anchovies, all of them, right? So, and I will cycle through those. I will figure out, I'll have a lot of that stuff with me because some days they will key on one and that can make the difference. So it's having a good, clean, extremely clean, vibrant egg, right, that's cured the right length of time and the right process as a base. I do believe that these salmon, as they're moving up the river, they're sight indicators. We use bright colors for a reason. Sure. And therefore, when I designed the cure itself, I wanted it to be the most vibrant, brightest egg on the market.
Gotcha.
So that was the whole idea behind that. So back to the mackerel, you can use actual frozen fillets, right? So there's different types of mackerel that they import from different areas and all those sort of things. Those do play into the successes. But yeah, I'll chunk those down into small pieces, sometimes tip eggs those ways. Yeah.
And you do you settle on this? I mean, this is what you ultimately end up using?
I'll use that, and then I'll also use fillets themselves, right? So I will buy a whole or a whole mackerel in whole, and I'll fillet it and chunk bait it and tip it, and I'll even add those fillets at times into the coon shrimp.
And we're going to get to that here in just a second. You also brought in something that you're kind of well known for, is chunks of shrimp. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. We call it steelhead candy. Steelhead candy themselves are extremely, extremely effective. And we also have what's called salmon candy, right? So I haven't really ever aired out the salmon candy side of things, but we're going to start with the steelhead candy, and I'll give you the basis of what that is.
Steelhead candy, so like winter steelhead, summer runs, both?
Absolutely. Fish them under a float, drift fish them, side drift them, whatever it may be. Now these.
So instead of agave eggs, it'd be just a chunk of shrimp?
Yes, absolutely. So we have raw shrimp, easy peel, shell on, 21, 25 size limit. You know, they call them jumbos. You can get a size a little bit smaller if you want. Sure. Depends on what you're fishing. If you want to target kokanee, you can buy the smallest, the 41 to 50 counts.
Oh, okay, good point, yeah.
So, but when we cure them, we just pull the shell off, tail shell, and then the actual body shell, and then we're going to chunk them up. And when we chunk those up, we're going to cut them into bait sizes, about like so, to where when we thread this on the hook, one of the ideas that I had years and years and years ago is when we're side drifting eggs, it's quite consistent that when you're banging the bottom, you got new people in the boat or people that are reasonably inexperienced, they feel that bottom, they want to set the hook, right? Sure. So I came up with the idea and whatnot to utilize a piece of prawn as a scent sponge. Okay, so we cure it with the ultimate egg cure. We add some of these scents that I'll get into here in a second. And what that does is it gives you a dense, textured bait that stays on the hook. You can't get them off and set in the hook, right?
Gotcha.
So what we do is we'll cut them in 3-4 pieces per, okay? And I'll do a couple of them here as an example.
And you're using your egg cure, not the shrimp cure. You're using the egg cure for this process.
Right.
Okay.
I do. People do use the shrimp cure, though.
They do?
They do. I've gotten a lot of feedback, and people are using the shrimp cure as part of that process as well, and they're using it. Crazy enough, they're using the shrimp cure now on eggs.
Okay, well, I don't want to barbecue with mine yet. Okay, so
I know.
At least for the steelhead candy that you're referring to now, you're going to be utilizing the same egg cure that you just used on these eggs.
Correct.
And which, by the way, if you take a quick look at this while he's actually doing what he's doing,
isn't that something?
You can see that they are already milking out quite a bit. You can see some of that milk trying to run off of there, and that's exactly what you want to see at this point.
Yep, and so what's going to happen there is in that first 18 to 24 hours, they're going to dump their juice, and they're going to turn around and absorb it all back up.
Yep, suck it right back up.
Yep, so back to this. So we're going to do one last little prawn here, and we're going to chunk it up. And then with these, again, we're going to add almost the exact same amounts as you would do with the eggs.
Okay.
So super sweet and simple, right? Just pop the top here, and again, we have a shaker bottle we can use as well. Just about like so.
Okay.
Toss the lid on.
Now, when somebody's doing a whole jar, would you just layer it and then put some cure on, and then another layer of shrimp, and then more cure, and then do that all the way up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got it. So I'll go about 2 inches of prawns.
Okay.
I'll do a layer of the egg cure. 2 inches of prawns, layer of the egg cure. And a lot of times I'll do it in a pint, and a pint's going to go a long ways.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
a lot of bait.
Absolutely. So when you shake these up, we'll get them going like so. What I'll do is I'll add my ProCure bait scents. Okay. My favorite is squid oil, without question.
Go ahead. You can show the bottle again.
That's my favorite. So I'll liberally add the scent.
Okay.
The more scent you add, the longer the shelf life
Oh, interesting.
of the shrimp.
Okay.
Follow me? So the oils themselves, on top of the chemicals, the preservatives, they're gonna increase that shelf life. Okay. When I make these, they're fishable in 24 hours.
Okay.
You can fish them immediately, and they will last a month and a half, 2 months in the fridge. I do advise to shake them once or twice a week, if you can remember to, okay, to kind of keep the components of the actual egg cure itself working.
Gotcha.
Right? So it's going to keep doing what it does, reducing this molecularly, okay, helping disperse these scents through that water column, and assisting in how that works. So again, I will put, I will put squid, I will put shrimp prawn. These two here are my two favorites for summer steelhead.
Okay.
I will do the same exact thing for salmon too.
Okay.
Okay. More spring Chinook than fall Chinook has been my experience, but I will do the same thing, and instead I will add bloody tuna. Okay. I will add shrimp prawn, and then the salmon hammer. Okay.
Salmon slammer.
Salmon slammer. Sorry, I always get it mixed up. But yes,
Yeah.
if you smell that stuff, it's got everything
One of my
that
favorites.
you need, and it is. It's absolutely the. It's a deadly one.
Okay, now hold on. We got to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I want to pick up where we left off with Steelhead candy, that he's also utilizing his ultimate egg cure to cure up. And my next question for him is, can I put it on a hook and back troll it in Oregon City? That's just me. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. ProCure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. And by North American Metals Incorporated, first choice for all your metal roofing and siding needs.